each barbecue meat that is presented to my eyes, my nose, my hands, and my palate. I accept my duty to be an official Sam's National Regional Barbecue Championship judge. So that truth, justice, excellence in barbecue, and the American way of life may be strengthened and preserved forever. Have a great time today, folks.
Just give me 1 second, I'll show you, because I take the steak and I just let the meat determine how much rub it wants on it. Then I go straight from the fridge to the rub to the grill. You'll reduce your flare-ups that way, as well as the sesame seeds will actually toast, because as you'll see, we're at 330. I cook between 325 and 350, which is medium heat, and that medium heat actually leaves 6 to 9% more moisture inside your steak, because of the searing. It boils out the outer shell basically and destroys the cell structure if you sear. And what you're doing, you are sealing what juices are left in the steak, but I can take 2 New York strips side by side from the same animal, make them identical weights, so they've got the same fat content. I'll use one on medium heat, another on searing, and mine will weigh more. So what does that tell you? All that fat's rendering out, that's staying in, and the juices are staying in the steak. That's going to make more flavorful steak. It's also going to make it more tender and velvety. So what you're going to wind up being is a prime steak, essentially, for USDA choice cost.
Yeah, that was cooked perfect.
Thank you very much. And that's an Asian flavor profile with the toasted sesame seeds because of that medium heat. I'm sort of throwing down the gauntlet by using sesame seeds and garlic on the outside of the shell of the steaks today. By doing that, if you burn them, it's going to be bitter when you put it in your mouth. So I'm actually showing you how you can do all kinds of different more flavors just by cooking on medium heat.
Great job.
Thank you very much. Grab that Confident Cooking Guide with beef. It'll have my a smaller pamphlet in there. Grillmastertour.com has all my recipes I cooked today. Thank you.
Putting about a clove and a half on each side. We're cooking on medium heat, so it's going to roast that garlic and not burn it. When garlic burns, it gets bitter, and we want to avoid those acids in the flavor profile. What we're trying to do is use thyme. Thyme is fantastic smoke when you're putting it on the grill. It releases the smoke right into the steak, so we're putting the thyme right on it. A little bit heavy. I'm using dry thyme today. You can use fresh thyme. I use half as much dry as I do fresh. Once it rehydrates, the flavor comes out into the herb a little bit more when you use that dried. So if you're using fresh, use twice as much as the dried you'd normally use. There we go. We're just sprinkling that on, using our great McCormick's thyme that we've gotten from Sam's Club. Minced garlic is from inside. We'll let that sit for just a moment while we finish prepping the others. And by doing that, we're going to go straight from the fridge to the grill. We're going to reduce our flare-ups that way, and with a ribeye, with so much fat in a ribeye, that definitely comes into play. So any chill that you can put on to the ribeye before you put it on the grill will help by the time it finishes. We're going for an internal temperature of 145 degrees ending temperature. I'll take it off the grill 142-ish on my Thermopin and let it rest for 5 to 7 minutes because I want it to keep the juices inside and also continue to rise up. Like Grandma's cookies, you take them out the oven, set them up on the stove top to finish. You're going to do that with a steak. So let's go ahead and put it onto the grill. Oh, that smell of that thyme coming off. And you're going to see the different, this is an ending look to it here, where the gold is roasted. You've got caramelized grill marks as opposed to char on high heat searing. This one's ready to turn, and you'll see it's got a grayish hue to it. And this is red, right, raw off of the from the fridge right onto the grill.
Oh yeah, you do. Oh yeah, you do.
Only because we're 5 games up on you.
Okay, now you do.
And we'll shut that and let convection do the work. And let that heat go around on that gas grill.
Is this honey, Deb? No. This is buffalo.
Thank you.
Where is home?
I'm sorry?
Where is home?
Not very far away at all, Washington, Missouri.
Oh, I see. Okay.
How we doing?
How are you?
Tickle pink. Buy that? Thanks.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Hi there.
Morning.
All right.
Great.
How you doing?
How are you?
Pretty good.
Looks good.
Yep, it is. And you're always welcome to come back and try the four sauces together. I mean, it's hard to mix in one at a time, but you can always come back to get more.
Right over here too, folks.
Thank you, sir.
You know about this stuff, right?
Yes, a
You want to get on it?
Best, spicy, right, sweet. Next one a little too peppery for me. This one was a little not that tender. That one I felt was bland. And these two had, next one had a little bit too much spice for me, and this last one a little too much spice.
Okay.
Yeah, they're obviously they all look very similar. It looks like they have the same cooking, same rub, or similar rub, same sauce. It was very hard to pick one. I like the last one slightly the best. The third one was just a hair off. That was the one I liked the least, but they were mostly interchangeable.
4 was my favorite. It got the highest score. The fourth one there. The third one got the next highest score, and then the second one come in third in my opinion. All good. Appearance was very good on all of them.
My favorite was number 5, with 4 coming in a close second, and number 2 was my least favorite.
Far and away, number 5 was the best. All 6 of them, the skin was done perfectly.
Yeah, we had a great batch of chicken here today. Number 6 was my favorite. But really, how do you choose between several of them? 5 was excellent. 3 was very good, but the skin, I had a problem with that on my second bite. If I had stayed with the first bite, it would have been better. But just a great bunch of chicken.
You know, I rarely cook under the same team's name. Or, you know, I'm always going to help somebody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my own team's Hogs and Hotties, but I rarely cook with Hogs and Hotties.
Oh man, these are really good up here.
Well, they're
So if you guys, this is, I'm not going to include that one.
I'm telling you, you got some
That's
good
probably the
bits.
best. You guys can share that one. Okay, and then we're going to have to go in with some parsley on the sides here.
That's an easy fix though.
Just to kind of fill it in a little bit there. Actually, it looks not so bad. It's going to hit.
I agree on the ribs. Entry 3 and 4, tenderness, flavor, excellent. Entries 2 and 6, one side pulls from the bone, the other side did not pull from the bone, so the tenderness was not there as well as the others.
First 2 were about the same for me. They were good, but they just weren't excellent. They were very good. The third one, like the previous 2 guys, that was great. It was my favorite by far. The next one was tasty, but it was just a little overdone. And the 5th one, it tasted great. I really enjoyed the taste, except for it was just mushy. It was just overcooked. The last one, I really liked the way it tasted, but the only way I could describe it would be TOUGH.
I pretty much agree with everybody said. Number 3 had the best taste and tenderness. Number 6 was on the tough side. I thought 5 was a little bit on the sweet side for my taste.
I agree with all the rest of them. Number 3 was the best. Number 6 was very good in taste, but I thought it was a little bit tough also. Number 5 had very, very good taste, but it was just a little too mushy. 1 and 2 were really pretty good.
Number 3 and number 5 were my favorites. Both of them were very good. Number 6, I agree, was very tough compared to the rest of them. And I didn't like the taste at all on number 4. And the first 2 were okay, but very bland.
That isn't really a perfect looking medallion, but
It don't look bad.
102.
Ooh. You gonna be able to make it, ma'am?
Yep. I just need 30 seconds.
It's getting a little tougher down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
What about
6.
these chunks? You going chunks?
Yeah, chunks go on the
And
two
the
sides.
foil?
Yeah, both those. You want to help me real quick? Bark facing forward, just on the two sides there. Man, thank God you're here. Karen, too. It's a godsend.
103.
Okay, I gotta take it. Should I go and just run?
I got it. My hands are dry. Just close the lid.
I thought the appearance on all the entries were very good. Number 1 for me had a more traditional taste. You could taste the meat, the natural flavor of the meat. I thought the tenderness was excellent on it also. And like number 4, the tenderness was okay, but I thought that there was a foreign taste that kind of overpowered the taste of the meat itself.
I thought they were all good presentation. I enjoyed number 2 and number 4. Was tender and they had a good flavor. The favorite one was probably number 2.
I agree with them. The appearance of all of them was very good. I felt like the second one was a little tough, and the third one had a very distinct flavor to it that kind of seemed to overpower it. And overall, they were pretty tender, though.
I liked the first and the last one. It was kind of a toss-up between the two. The money mussel was really cooked well, had a good flavor. Still has a lot of moisture to it. I can kind of squeeze on a piece and still see some of the moisture inject come out of it. The one I didn't care for as much was the third one, and they must have marinated that in vinegar or something before the turn in there. It just wasn't appealing at all.
Okay, so they all looked pretty good. 1 and 2 stood out with taste and tenderness for me. Just really tender, juicy, good flavor in the meat, good flavor in the sauce. Just all went together well. 3 was a little tangy, and 4, they had 2 different cuts of meat in there. One of them was kind of dry, the other one was kind of mushy, so that was the drawback on those. But overall, pretty good.
For me, my favorite would have to be number 1, but on number 2, the shredded pork for me was extremely slimy, and number 5 also had a really good flavor.
Look in the box.
Keep them in the back.
I put the bark up on that one.
Put them in. Right behind you. A little unorthodox, if you know.
Okay, be unorthodox.
Brian, where'd you say that wing sauce?
It's your box.
Is that little half pan down there that says wing sauce?
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. Behind you. About half it in there, you say?
Yeah, thereabouts. We want a good coating on it all because that's got a whole lot of honey in it. It'll caramelize. I want it to be candied like.
Making candied wings?
Are you done with me for a second, Nate?
Yeah. Yeah, make them.
All the chicken wings?
Yep. Their last one. They took it down pretty good. I picked the package up. I'm like, oh, I'm not too bad, but I thought they took down some. This one's off.
Take that thing off. Get a solo cup and pour that sauce in a solo cup.
Oh yeah, I think we're putting this in there.
I think that looks damn good.
You like that? You want a picture of that? We only have 4 minutes. But...
Go.
Okay.
Don't play. 131.
You guys want to all take it in together?
Sure thing.
We just formed a team here this weekend, so might as well, right?
Why not?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more out there. You guys can split that and tell me if you think I should put it in or not. It's better up in here.
Oh, it's damn good, I think.
Oh.
Put in?
Melted right in my mouth.
Put in?
Yeah.
This is what I'm wondering, if they're going to freak out about the little bit of fat on the top.
The way you're laying it in there, you really can't tell.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it's normally done the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
what's our time at, real quick? I'm sorry, I'm
131.
interrupting. Okay.
You're good.
You're good.
It just turned to 132.
I think the way
do you
you're
have
laying it in is
tweezers
going to be
anywhere?
fine. What do you need?
Yeah, you want to go in there and get the bits off the slices? Anything that's showing as far as bits? Do you think I should go back and brush what is showing?
You're not going to have time.
No?
You're not going to have time.
We could go in right at the 25, right?
I think it's
You're
going
at
good.
132.
Okay.
Yeah, we only got a couple minutes right now.
I should have thought about this a little bit more, about burnings in the front or the back.
I think you're good right here.
Should I make these all, like these are longer than those?
I wouldn't worry
Just
about
leave it?
that. Yep.
Just dip them and throw them in?
Dip them and throw
Throw them in.
Well, place, don't throw.
Well, yeah. Is that where that went? I think that's where that went.
That's it.
That little chunk of fat that's hanging.
That actually is.
The first one was just an average brisket. Looked okay in the box. Tasted just average. Second one, bit salty. Looked okay in the box. The third one had a very nice presentation. Looked good in the box. But it was average flavor. The fourth one looked dry in the box, and it really had a bland taste. There was no beef flavor at all to it. Fifth one, just another average brisket. And the last one looked okay in the box, not a bad presentation. It was peppery, but it was very much overcooked.
Okay, definitely going to say on contestant 330, the first one, when they opened it up for appearance, I immediately gave it a 9 because it had good grain. It was cut perfectly. It looked like it was going all in one direction, so it was just a really good presentation. Contestant 318, which is the next one, you can't help but taste the immediate reaction of Morton seasoned salt. There was consistency based of seasoned salt in it. It was just unquestionable. So a good brisket if you like seasoned salt, in other words, but it overpowered everything that I think that the chef was trying to do there. 309 was a good piece of meat. Didn't have any notes on it. I will say that keeping the KCBS tenderness standards, I did give it a 9 because it did have some good pull apart. 305 was kind of surprising to me because when I first saw it in the box, it was not much ring to it. It was inconsistent slices, but unlike another judge, I personally liked the flavor of it. The tenderness was impeccable. That was a really good pull apart. For one of the first times being a judge after 15 contests, contestant 331, I would have to say that the cube saved it from an 8 to a 9. I didn't really taste the flavor of what exactly the cook was trying to do on the regular slice of brisket, but I could taste the sauce inside of the cube itself. So I went ahead and actually gave it a 9. And the last one, 311, I think that had the excessive glaze on it that they tried to put on to give it that look of being a little juicy. And I think that if that glaze had a little bit more flavor to it, it would have been a good piece of meat. But once again, all around, really good brisket for me. Do you want to go, Green?
No, he chose not to.
Okay.
Calvin, you wish to comment?
Yeah.
Okay. It's basically we had 3 entries that was overcooked, had rendered past the process of leaving any moisture on the brisket. That would be the number 1, 330. Number 5, 331, and the last one, 311. We had 2 pieces of brisket that had not been rendered enough that left it tough. That would be number 2, 318. Number 4, 305. My best one was the number 309, the third one. It was probably close to being overcooked, but it was a good enough product that there was still moisture left in it. What really helped it out was the burn in. It had a really tender burn in that had a nice bark flavor to it. A lot of time brisket cooks will put burn ins with the idea they think they need them in there, and it really distracts from their score. But this guy did a fine job by putting his burn in. It helped his score, and it made the product the best out of all 6 of them.
I agree with a lot of the previous statements. There were several of them that didn't have that desirable stretch to them when you're looking at a brisket. Unfortunately, 305 didn't have any give at all, but I found that it had a bit of a promising flavor. Unfortunately, it was a bit dry. Back to previous comments again, I found that number 309 had fantastic stretch and texture, great taste, and what really topped it off was that good burnt end. Unfortunately, there were others in the category that had a nice piece of brisket and the burnt end ended up soggy or greasy. Finally, my personal favorite was number 311. Great piece of meat, good stretch and flavor, very flavorful, and then topped up with an exceptional burn end there really sealed the deal for me. So overall, it was a good plate of meat. Thank you.
So now you're gonna be creative.
Oh yeah, it's just. I think I can get 3 rows in there.
Or that's got to be opposite of that side.
in a row having tries.
I know. This should be the easiest parts. There's no garnish in it.
I like that. One more.
Okay, my favorite wing was number 5, and my least favorite was number 1. The seasoning on number 5 was great, and number 1, it was just sort of bland. I didn't really get any discernible flavor from it.
My favorite was number 2 and number 5. My least favorite was number 4. Had a rubbery skin to it. Number 6 had a really unique, different flavor. I didn't know what was going on there. It seemed like it wasn't cooked well, also. So, 2 and 5 for me.
The wings definitely ranged when it came to my preferences. At first glance, wing number 1 and wing number 3 seemed kind of pale, like they hadn't really rendered out that caramelization. But number 2 really shined with that. You want to reach out and grab the caramely, crispy look. And then as far as flavor on number 2, it wasn't just a sweetness, sugary sweetness. There was really a unique flavor there. And then moving down to 4, 5, and 6, 4 really had a really original, unique flavor. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have it rendered some more, try to get some more crispy spots on that skin. And this is where wing number 5, I would say, really excelled with unique flavor, a little bit of sweetness, but really those good caramelized, crunchy bits you like on a wing. And finally, I applaud number 6 for their attempt to kind of mimic a fried chicken wing. The flavor is solid. I applaud the unique approach there on number 6.
So the wings, quite a range. Start off with the one I like the least. Number 3, it's kind of bland. It didn't have a lot of flavor. I don't know, it was just missing something flavor-wise. And 5 really shined. Good color, good flavor. The sauce, the chicken, the meat, it was all done really good, went together well. 6 had a really good flavor, texture-wise, kind of threw it off as far as standing out with the rest of the winners here. But overall, not too bad.
Oh, you want me to do it? Sure. Okay. First of all my wings were cooked properly, and I applaud everyone for doing that. And they were all very moist, and they all looked really good. So I scored very high on tenderness and appearance. Number 3 lacked in flavor. I don't know what went wrong there, but it just didn't have it. And number 6, which is 307, had some crispy, crunchy something on it. Didn't appeal to me at all. So they scored very low in taste for me. But other than that, everyone did a great job on wings today. I applaud everyone for their efforts.
Why do we do what we do? We do what we do for the love of barbecue.
I'm told to.
Peace, love, and barbecue, right?
Peace, love, and barbecue.
That was last weekend. Is that it? What it was?
Yeah.
Not this weekend?
Well, Peace, Love, and Barbecue was at Mike Bell's place. Oh, really? There's a name, one name that? That's a name.
That's the name of his book, Peace, Love, and Barbecue.
Oh, really?
That's the name of my
I didn't-
speech. I'm giving a speech next weekend, and that's what I called it: Peace, Love, and Barbecue. The life of a competition judge. I didn't even know that.
Wow, then you better trademark that before he gets on you.
He's already trademarked.
Yeah, like, tell him don't get mad at me.
So our trip this weekend, it took us about 950 miles from
Okay.
Martinsburg, West Virginia here to St. Charles, Missouri, just to get the best of the best barbecue around. We do about 2 big trips a year and do it as a vacation. And we try and do it as a family vacation. The other 4th judge of us wasn't able to join us today, but we do judging as a family. There's 4 of us all together, certified. And we just try and travel as much as the United States as we can, testing and eating various types of barbecue.
How many contests a year do y'all do? Normal.
Well, normally
7
well,
to 8.
I was going to say about 10 or 10.
Well,
yeah, because
it's all
we're in the-
according to our schedules. Like, he usually works weekends, so we try to
It's
do
getting
a
around our work
Saturday one.
schedule. So I'm doing at least 10 a year.
Yeah.
You know, we also work regular jobs and run a business, so it's working everything around.
What do you do the rest of the week?
Well, I'm an insurance agent for State Farm Insurance.
Okay.
Mr. Scott runs our business. We make the best, absolutely best jams and jellies on the whole East Coast, and that's what he does. And Mr. Bill works at a warehouse at Joanne Fabrics. And so between our work life and Mr. Scott's going to school this year, we work barbecue in between it.